There's a video that went out of you meeting President Biden, and you said you love him. I'm curious how it was, what it was like for you to meet the president of the United States of America, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but what do you think about his stance?
I'm getting in trouble now. So I'll tell you something. I really, in that moment, loved him. Honestly, I never felt so loved and felt love back from the person who was the strongest person in the world, the president of the United States, that 10 days later, after the war started, comes to Israel. And I got invited to meet with him, and I stayed an hour and 15 minutes with him. And he kept asking me questions, and I kept asking him questions, and I felt like he really cares about us. This is in the first few weeks.
Right.
I think I did, and that's what I heard from Israeli government officials, including the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, who told me that saying that I told him meant something to him. It meant something to me too. And the fact that he gave me a hug, and I gave him a hug, and he gave me 4 or 5 hugs, and he had tears of his eyes on my shoulder. Like I felt his real love. That was the beginning before he found out what's going on in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania with the voting. But he was actually, let's put it this way. I'm not a politic. I met with Trump 2 weeks later, and I got a hug from Trump too. And I don't care, Trump and Biden, I want people to support Israel. Now, I'm not getting into the American politics, although I could vote here. I have a voting. I'll decide whatever I want to vote for. And everyone should use their judgments. But right that moment, we needed all the support we could. The world was turning against us really, really quick. I mean, maybe 2 hours after the attack against us started, the countries said Israel's the fault. A lot of countries, of course. Qatar and many other countries were just pushing the narrative. So when President Biden came to Israel, and I got to tell him the stories that I saw, that my volunteers saw, he started crying, and I felt like this is the president of the United States. He loves us. And I asked him, where's your love come from to Jews? I asked him. He says, my father taught me that our job as Christians is to love the Jewish people. And he says, after the Holocaust, my father says, we need to protect the Jewish people. That saying that I said, it was very genuine. Doesn't mean right now I would say the same. I think it's a little wore out but I have a kar satov. I have a little appreciation of what he helped us in the first few months, which was unbelievable.
If he was sitting in front of you right now, what would you say to him?
I would say to him, remember the words you told me the first 2 weeks of the war, that you will stand beside Israel no matter what until Hamas is defeated. You said that to me. You said that to everyone. You said, I'm here as the president of the United States because although I'm not Jewish, I'm a Zionist and I will protect Israel. And I'll just try reminding him because a lot of people wanted him to forget what he said.
A crisis has a way of clarifying people's values, and then things get blurry over time.
Look, I think he meant well, and he really, in the beginning of the war, and everyone says that. I spoke at the RJC a few weeks later, a week later or 2 weeks later, the Republican Jewish Coalition, in front of Nikki Haley, Mike Johnson, Donald Trump. Everyone was there. And I told him what the president said, and I showed love to the president in front of all these Republicans. Everyone said Hakarat Tov, showing gratitude to the president, was very, very important in that moment. And people actually appreciated the fact that I said, and I think besides for Trump, everyone else praised the president. That moment, moment. Trump did not. But I think that was important.
Definitely the moment was, it was beyond politics.
Beyond politics. And I think we have to remind the president. I mean, at the end of the day, he's still the president until at least November or January. This has to be, our goal is to make sure the president should not be an honest negotiator. He should not. Like he always says, America wants to be always the honest, how do you call it? The moderator, the honest. No, America.
Bipartisan?
What?
Bipartisan? Like,
Yeah, he should not. He's on our side. When they do negotiations with the Hamas, he should not be on the side of the negotiator. He should be the side of Israel. This is the only country in the world. Think about it. Iran has 140 countries aligned with them. It's countries who are bad countries like China, like Russia, like North Korea, like Venezuela, like many, many countries. Now, Chile, Colombia, you name it, most of the countries in the world. We have very few countries. And the first one is the United States. They should be on this side of the table with us. Fighting Hamas, because Hamas is not against the Jewish people. Hamas is not against Israel. Hamas is against the entire world. Hamas want to come here to 5 towns.